Your Honor, no redirect. May this witness be excused?
Yes, you may step down. Thank you. You may call your next witness.
The state calls Pat Lawrence to the stand.
Good morning.
Gaby Fuentes for the state. May I proceed?
Yes.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Patrick Larams, L-A-W-R-A-R-E-N-C-E, sorry.
Mr. Lawrence, what do you do for a living?
I'm a server right now. I work with a company that does weddings, but before this I was a server at Charlie's Bar and Grill, which is probably why I'm here.
I'd like to direct your attention to September 24, 2010. What did you do when you arrived at Chinese?
Well, I was doing my first day. 2 days before this, I was interviewing. They hired me, and so I came in for training. During my training, I saw, well, you're blocking her, but that woman right there on the gray suit, Miss Dawson.
What was Miss Dawson doing?
And she came in around, I'd say 2 o'clock or so. I started at noon. And she came in and she went straight to the bar where I was training with the bartender, learning how to pour drinks and all of that.
What was she doing while she was at the bar?
Well, while she was at the bar, she sat down. Miss Jordan James, the bartender, was pouring liquor bottles into glasses in front of her. And I know they're liquor because the bottles have those little silver things on the top that they pour upside down and the liquor comes out of them. But I did not see her drink them. There were at least 6 empty glasses that they accumulated at least over a couple of periods, of a couple hours or so.
Besides seeing the defendant, did you interact with her?
Unfortunately. A couple of minutes after I started my shift, I went to my tables to see which tables I would have, and she followed me for some reason and stumbled everywhere, slurring her words, dropped her drink all over me. I like to wear nice clothes, I like to get tips, you know. And so I had to go outside, change my clothes, came back, she was at my table.
You mentioned she was at your table. Did she order anything?
Of course.
What was that, Mr. Lawrence?
Alcoholic drinks, at least. I mean, there was a lot on her receipt and all that, but at first she ordered a whiskey on the rocks stronger.
You mentioned she ordered them stronger. Did you let the bartender know this?
No, because earlier I was talking with Jordan, like I was training with her, and she was telling me how she was going to make the drink stronger, so she gave more tips that night because there was a band and so many people were coming that they wanted to bring in more tips since there was going to be so many people. And so I didn't tell them.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevant. May I be heard?
I'm sorry. Your initial question was again?
Did he inform the bartender that she asked her to drink stronger?
And your objection is?
Your Honor, whether or not the server informed the bartender of whether or not the drinks would be strong, that's not relevant to this case. It's the actual strength of the drinks that's in contention.
I thought the question was whether the defendant asked that the drinks be poured strong.
I don't believe that's the question. I believe the question was whether the server informed the bartender to pour the drinks strong.
Was that your question?
Yes, Your Honor, that was the question.
Your objection is sustained.
May I be heard, Your Honor, briefly?
Okay.
Your Honor, this is relevant because in today's case, one of the counts that we, the prosecution, are trying to prove is that the defendant drove under the influence. And considering that, you know, driving under the influence is alcohol, it's everything that's related to alcoholic beverages is relevant in today's case. Makes it more likely that the defendant did in fact drive under the influence that night.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes.
Your Honor, we do understand that this is a drinking and driving case and how much alcohol the defendant consumed is in contention. However, the server telling the bartender to pour the drinks strong is not relevant to how many drinks the defendant actually consumed.
May I be heard, Your Honor?
Yes.
The stronger the drinks, the more likely that she was intoxicated that night while she drove. Therefore, it is relevant to know in today's case if this witness asked the bartender to pour the drink stronger, because it measures content of alcoholic drinks.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Having reconsidered, your objection is overruled.
Are you done with your answer, Mr. Lawrence?
Basically, I did not tell the bartender to do this because she already told me she was going to make them stronger, so I didn't ask her.
So when you actually brought the drinks back to the table, what happened?
Well, that's when I brought also sodas to the table. I was worried about who was going to drive this night because it seems that her and her two friends were all going to drink, and I wanted to establish who was going to drive. So I offered free sodas to the driver.
How did they respond, Mr. Lawrence?
Ms. Dawson raised her hand.
What happened after Mrs. Dawson indicated that she would be driving?
Right after this, I went back to the bar to talk with Jordan, and she gave three free drinks to the table because it was a girl's birthday at this table, and so I brought those 3 drinks to the table.
Do you know what happened with those 3 drinks?
So Miss Dawson, I had the platter, I had the 3 drinks, and I put it down in front of her, and she drank all of it before I could even put the other 2 glasses in front of the other 2 girls. And so that's what I know what happened to hers, and as I was walking away, it seemed as if she was sipping on the others when I looked over my shoulder.
Was this the last alcoholic beverage you brought to the table?
No. The next hour or so, they ordered screwdrivers, which is vodka and orange juice, and so they were ordering this, just Miss Dawson and another girl. They ordered 6 in total. I put 1 in front of the other. They emptied, take them away, bring 2 more, 2 more.
After the screwdrivers, what happened?
Well, Miss Dawson was off in the corner of the bar, and I went up to her and asked her why she was all alone if she wanted something.
How did she respond?
She said she wanted a tequila sunrise. And I told her, no, not if you're driving. And she argued with me for so long that I had to end up bringing it to her. And so when I did, that's when she asked me this stupidest question I've ever heard. But
What was that, Mr. Lawrence?
she asked me, first, I need something to concentrate on to drive home. Crazy eyes. And then she looks at me and asks for 80 details.
Objection, Your Honor, more prejudicial than probative. May I be heard?
I'm sorry, she asked for what pills?
ADD. I don't know what they are, but ADD.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is a drinking and driving case. The relevance of ADD pills is none whatsoever. It's more likely to prejudice the jury and make them think that the defendant is some kind of drug addict, which has no bearing whatsoever on whether or not the defendant drank, drove, or committed any acts that could be considered reckless on the night of September 24th.
May I be heard, Your Honor?
Yes.
Though this does have some slight prejudicial value, one of the counts that we, the prosecution, are trying to prove in today's case is that the defendant drove out under the, or that the defendant was consciously aware of a risk. The fact that the defendant asked for some pills is highly probative in today's case because it proves that the defendant was in fact aware of a risk.
Let me ask you, where is the complaint?
Your Honor, the indictment in today's
Yes.
case? I believe a copy of it was tendered to the bench by opposing counsel.
That's what I'm trying to find here so I can read it. That's their side.
That's true.
We have a copy available if you'd like.
Should we tender?
Don't have it here? Sure.
May I
You
approach?
you didn't tender it, did you?
No, Your Honor.
No.
May I approach it this moment?
Please. Yes, I don't have the indictment.